Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I have something pretty amazing to show you, and I'm going to try to just go through it as quick as I can. Apologies for I'm kind of crammed over here trying to work around a microphone and a camera just to show you this, but the Digitax has a new operating system upgrade, and that's always exciting when Elektron does this, and this is a biggie. And I've been helping, or I had the privilege to help these guys, a group of us, test this. And it was very hard to stay quiet, but because, well, you'll see. All right, let's start with, well, let's see. It's like, I didn't really think about how I'm going to show everything here, but I'm just going to try to go through it. Let's start with filters. Everybody's sitting forward like, what filters? So let's start with, I'm going to take a kick drum here. Let me go out. Okay, really simple kick drum. When I go to filter, you're not going to see anything new right away, right? You're just going to see the regular filter. One thing I want to show is that when you turn the filter all the way off, you can see that it shows you it's like a dashed line. I don't know if you can see that on my screen, but that's a nice sort of indication. There's a lot more than that though. That's just the start. All right, so low pass filter, we've had that. High pass filters next. Yes, we've always had that. But then EQ1, what's that? So this is a EQ filter, and you can see kind of by its shape. So that this is almost a little bit like a notch filter, although it doesn't knock everything out. So you can change the gain here. Let's see if you can see the shape. I'm looking at the screen to see. Okay, yeah. So this is the cool part. You see how I just put that up? There you go. Now we're actually getting some interesting like grit, you know. And this works the same way. You know, you have your envelope settings and everything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it sweep through. And so that's one new filter. The next filters are very related, is that they step in and give you a more specific frequency. So this one's right there. Now what's cool about this is if you get it just right, you can actually sweep through. You hear that? Get that little whistle. Now let me go through this and change the EQ back. That's like a bigger tone, and then as I tighten it up, so that's the Q setting basically on the EQ. So I'm going to leave it with that little whistle sound, and I'm going to show you a bass drum that I did earlier, where I did more of that whistle sound. But I want to show you the exciting thing, because everybody's like, where's the bandpass? Because that's, you know, it's like everybody's looking for that. When you hit filter again, guess what? You have bass and width. So just like the Digitone, you can go in here and take this thing, and you could say, well, I really want to emphasize those highs, so you can just do that. How awesome is that? I mean, that's like no sample editing, just dive in and just edit it. So that's like, I love it. In fact, and then let me do the opposite. Let me just clip off the highs. So you're getting that. You don't really hear that. Maybe you can get a little bit of that kind of whistle thing going. So anyway, this is amazing. And I would say after using this, this is better than having a bandpass filter. In fact, the EQ filter is cool because you saw it. I can just like bring out some dynamic in the sample and then just mess around with it further, which is really awesome. So the other thing on the page that I'll go through just for thoroughness is there is now a filter envelope delay. So let me try to do this so you can see it. All right, so I'm changing it, just moving it over. And let me change the note a little bit. Let me go back to the filter. There's a little trick here. On the envelope filter, if you hold function and turn that same encoder, you're going to see the envelope slide over, which is really cool. So you can see it. So function and that same encoder lets you see it. And which is pretty cool. I haven't found, to be honest, I haven't found an amazing use of that, but there's plenty to explore here to figure stuff out. But let me show you a bass drum that I created earlier. Okay, that's actually a bass drum. Okay, that's a bass drum sample. So let me play this track. Just bring this guy in. Pretty crazy. So I use that EQ filter on it, you can see. It's a really small EQ. And I use the envelope filter to kind of like just pop it around a little bit. You get these weird raindrop kind of sounds out of it, which is really fun. But there's more, because how did I do that exactly? Well, if I go to the LFO page, if I tap that, you're going to see that there's actually 2 LFOs now. And not only is the LFO page different and more graphic, but now you can toggle between 2 of them. So every audio track has 2 LFOs. I'll let that sink in. I think some of you Digitact users are like, what? So what's awesome about this is what I did on this one is I'm actually routing the LFO to the filter base. So remember I showed you the new filter here on this page, the base. So I'm actually animating the base filter. You can animate both the base or the width to make all sorts of effects. So it's a cool way to target an LFO. So when I go to LFO, you can see that filter base is what I'm mapped to, and I'm using a triangle. And then what I did on the next envelope is I sent it to the filter frequency, and I used a random with a trig, at the, so it starts, so it's just moving it around. So it's just, so now what I love about this is you can take anything, like let's just take this snare and let's just route an LFO. Let's go to, I don't know, let's route it to, I don't know, tune, just something really obvious. So one second here. Let me make sure I'm using LFO1. So we'll go to sample tune. So, and then we turn this up so we can hear it. Okay, so that's going on. But then you can say, oh, well, actually, while it's doing that, what I really want to do is I want to have it also pan back and forth, which is really easy to do. So if all you have to do is hit the LFO button again, and it pops over there. And I'm going to pick pan. Let me do that. And let's put some panning on that, and let's slow it down. And now, so if you have headphones or something, you can hear this like moving back and forth. In fact, let me add it in here so you can, that should be moving. And now what you could do is you could say, oh, okay, what I really want to do is take this LFO on LFO2, and I want to change it to random. So you can turn this guy, change it to random, and then now change this to trig. And now it's going to a random location into the stereo field. And you could do that on any of the 8 tracks. So it's what's cool is if you're already using LFOs, and we all probably are, you use them a lot as envelopes. So now what you can do is you could say, oh, well, now not only can I use one of them for an envelope, but I can use the other one to move the pan back and forth. And so let me show you, I wanted to show you one thing. And also I wanted to give a quick shout out for a product I bought a long time ago. I think it's from Electronisounds, and it's 1,000 Digitax sounds. I have no affiliation with the company or anything, but just a happy customer, so I was going to pass this along because I took a track here. If you can hear that bass coming in. See what else I had on here. I just had a clap. Okay. Put my weird snare on top of that, but anyway. Okay, so let's keep going here. Quick thing that is really nice also is when you go to a track, if you have an LFO here, if you hold down the LFO button, you can hit copy, clear, or paste, which is awesome. So you can clear it out to get to the default page. And then you can also say, okay, now I want to go to the second LFO. And let me change it before I do this. Let me change to random so you can see it. And then I'm going to paste it. And so Wait a minute, that didn't look like it worked. Hold on a second. Let me try this again. Okay, that's the sine wave. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm taking that one, I'm copying it, and I'm going to page 2 and pasting it. There we go. Now it changed to a sine wave. Okay, hope you saw that. Because I've been using this a lot, and it's really, it's been really cool because it's just a fast way to grab LFOs and their settings and move them between tracks or move them between the same LFO slots. It's really nice. Also, here you can see that. Okay, yeah. When you're moving the phase of the LFO, it's really nice because it's graphic now. You can actually see it. So especially if you're on like something like a sawtooth, you can actually see if you can get right to the part of the ramp, like for example here where you're cutting it right off, right like there. So now you can see that. All right, let me see if I can cover a couple more things. Let me go to the next pattern and, oh, okay, that's reminding me. I have a synthesizer next to me, the Argon 8, and I got some audio coming in. And so I wanted to show when you go into function LFO, that's the master page. You can see that they've renamed the tracks. Probably can't read it on my screen, but instead of it saying kick and snare and all that stuff, it just says track 1, track 2 through track 8. I think that's a really smart thing because it's just really easy to use. There's a little global switch here you may not see, but when you toggle that, that means that any of these volume settings that you set for these tracks are going to go through all of your patterns. Or if you turn this off, then it's per pattern. It'll have different values. So that's a new thing they added. Okay, so here's another biggie, right? So I have this synthesizer. Let me go to its track so we can hear it. Okay, so that's coming in to the Digitac, and I have it set right now to, so if you hear that, it has no effects, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm adding the Digitax Delay to it. I know some of you are like, yes, finally. So, and I'll turn on the, I'll just play this so you can hear. Let me turn off these other things so you can hear it. Okay, so this is dry. Okay, this is with delay. This is with reverb. Okay, I'm gonna let that keep rolling. Now, one thing you can do too here, I should show this, is there is a setting called dual. And if you turn it to dual, so that's basically dual monochrome inputs, and you can adjust each one of them independently. So you have an independent amount of delay and reverb and pan and how much signal you're bringing in, which is really nice. So they really did a thorough job on all this stuff. So let me keep that rolling because I'll show you another thing about this that you might be wondering is, does the compressor process it? So I'm going to let that roll. Yes, it does. So let me go to the reverb. If I do post compressor, now the tails of the reverb, you're not going to hear them get compressed by the compressor. But if I do pre, that means pre-compressor, and you can hear them. Hoping you can hear that really well. Okay, that's without. And this is with compression. And then it comes up. Hopefully you can hear the difference there. I'm trying to just exaggerate it so you can hear it because it's a YouTube video. And let's see, did I miss anything? I just got to go back. So to recap, the filter section on the audio channels. So if I go to, there's actually more stuff too. So I'll just let others go through it but okay, filter section. Okay, first off, there's EQ filters now with 5 different Q values. There is another filter page with a bass and a width filter, which is huge and is so awesome for not having to re-edit samples. You can just knock out highs or lows on either side. It's great. Next big thing I showed was the LFOs. There's now 2 LFOs, so they've been kind of redesigned a little bit, but also 2 LFOs. And the last thing I showed was you can now route external audio into the Digitac and process it with its effects, including the master compressor. And I think those are the major big things. I might think of something, but I'm going to stop there because I don't know, it's an awesome upgrade. This has been a pleasure to mess with it and help test it, and really excited to see what the community thinks of it. So that's it for now. Thank you.